I legally demolished my neighbor's brand new $80,000 custom swimming pool while she was on a luxury vacation in Cabo. And the best part? The local police literally stood in my backyard, drank my iced tea, and watched me do it. You won't believe the sheer audacity this woman had to try and steal my land. But she learned the hard way that if you illegally build something on my property, the law says it belongs to me. And I like my backyard flat. Let's set the scene. I live in a quiet neighborhood with no homeowners association. 6 months ago, a woman named Susan bought the house next door. Susan is the kind of woman who speaks to everyone like they are the help. Right away, she announced she was building a massive, resort-style in-ground pool. One morning, I looked out my kitchen window and saw her contractors driving wooden stakes into the ground to mark the pool's footprint. I know my property lines. Those stakes were way past the boundary. I walked over politely and said, "Hey Susan, I think your guys are a little confused. That's my yard." She looked me up and down, laughed, and said, "It's just grass, sweetie. Don't be so stingy. It'll raise your property value just looking at it." I was stunned. She wasn't making a mistake. She was actively stealing my land because she thought I wouldn't fight back. The next day, the excavators arrived and started digging a massive hole exactly 8 feet into my property. I didn't yell. I didn't cause a scene. I paid $800 to hire an emergency, state-licensed land surveyor. He came out, mapped the exact GPS coordinates, and drove bright neon iron pins into the ground. I took the official stamped document, walked over to Susan, and handed it to her. I said, "You are digging on my property. Stop immediately, or I will remove it." Susan literally ripped the paper in half in front of my face. She said, "My contractors know what they're doing. If you touch my property, I'll sue you for everything you own." Then, she left for a 2-week vacation to Mexico, leaving the crew to pour the concrete and install the custom tile. While she was sipping margaritas, I went to the city planning office. Not only did she ignore my survey, but I discovered she never even pulled a permit for the pool. I sat down with the property lawyer for a 1-hour consultation. He smiled and handed me a copy of the local property statutes. Under our state law, any unauthorized, unpermitted structure permanently attached to your land without an easement is legally considered your property to alter, keep, or destroy. Susan hadn't built herself a pool. She had built me a pool, and I didn't want a pool. I rented a heavy-duty backhoe and hired a 3-man demolition crew. On day 12 of Susan's vacation, my crew arrived. We drained the 15,000 gallons of water they had just pumped in. Then, the backhoe operator dropped the steel bucket right onto the beautiful, imported Italian tile. Crack! We absolutely pulverized the concrete shell butt, only the 8 feet that were on my side of the property line. We left her side perfectly intact. Then, I ordered 3 dump trucks full of the ugliest, cheapest gray gravel I could find, and we filled my side of the hole completely level with the grass. 2 days later, Susan came home. I was sitting on my patio when I heard the scream. It sounded like a banshee. She called 911 immediately. 2 squad cars pulled up. She was hyperventilating, pointing at me, screaming, "Arrest her! She destroyed my oasis!" The officers walked over. I calmly handed them the stamped land survey, the ripped-up warning letter, and the property law statute. The lead officer looked at the paperwork, looked at the jagged half-pool filled with gravel, and turned to Susan. He said, "Ma'am, this is a civil matter, and technically, you're trespassing right now. I suggest you step back." Code enforcement arrived an hour later and fined Susan $5,000 for unpermitted construction. Because the structural integrity of her half of the pool was compromised, the city forced her to fill the rest of it in at her own expense. I eventually built a 10-foot privacy fence right over the gravel pit. So, let me ask you, was I a petty neighbor, or did Susan get